Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming back to my channel, Let's Be Real. Today I wanted to sit down and kind of finally do my first very casual video. Right now I know I'm doing kind of a lot of story time videos and videos about my life, and I like that and I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to continue, making more videos about the army and what my childhood was like and stuff like that. But I think eventually I really kind of want my channel to progress into one that focuses quite a bit on mental health and overcoming trauma and how to be better at communicating and how to find good resources and stuff like that. And I know there are a whole lot of channels out there like that, so I'm going to work really hard to make this a unique channel that kind of has its own good spin on that kind of stuff. It's all going to come from my own personal experiences, my opinions, and I know I'm a young person to be talking about that kind of stuff, but even today, mental health is a new topic. It's still things a lot of people, I guess, in your day-to-day life don't necessarily feel super comfortable talking about, or they don't really know how to talk about it. So that's kind of what I want to do on my channel. I want to use this video as kind of an introductory into how to talk about mental health and personal trauma and things like that, and I guess learning to be better at communicating what you need from the people around you. So in this video, I'm going to mainly focus on how to take care of yourself. I think that's something a lot of people kind of slack on, especially I think when you've been through trauma, when when you maybe deal with some mental health problems and things like that. You can at times either just focus too much on trying to take care of other people, or you really just kind of plain don't worry about taking care of yourself. And that's really, really damaging. And I know when you talk about it, most people think, that's obvious. Everybody knows you're supposed to drink water, you're supposed to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, you're supposed to take time for self-care and whatever. But that's different for everybody. It's different between every single person what self-care means to them and what taking care of their mental health and their physical health means. There are no two cases are the same. For me, when I need or want to focus on some self-care, that might mean taking a bath. That might mean doing my fingernails or my toenails. Things like that, that to somebody else might just be something fun to do or something that they don't like doing at all. It might not have anything to do with self-care, and that's fine. My boyfriend, I think when he doesn't really, let's see, how do I say this? I've asked him before kind of what he does for self-care, and I think it kind of took him by surprise a little bit because he couldn't really think of something he did specifically for self-care. When he's stressed out, he doesn't have, I guess, one thing he thinks to go do to make himself feel better. But just in knowing him, I know that a big outlet for him is music. So something I think he does a lot when he's maybe has been stressed for a prolonged period of time is he's really agitated and wants to get back to doing more music. So I'm not musically gifted at all, so that's totally different for me. When I'm stressed out, the last thing I want to go do is try to make music. So again, it's finding something you're passionate about, but I know for some people that's really hard. Not everybody is born with some kind of natural gift in a particular subject. Not everyone's born really good at writing or really good at drawing or really gifted at anything. Some people just struggle to think like, what do I like to do for fun? Because watching TV maybe doesn't count, or going to school maybe doesn't count. But those things really do. Your hobbies are your hobbies, your interests are your interests, and whatever you can do to give yourself some self-care, no one activity is less valid than the other as long as it is a healthy, positive activity. Then that's valid. That's what you can do. It doesn't have to be valid in the eyes of somebody else. In fact, if they're telling you that it's not, they really don't have a place in your life. And that's one thing I really want to talk about in taking care of yourself and in putting yourself first. I think as kids we're taught a lot of pretty unhealthy habits. Even today, even in this age where mental health is talked about so much more than it was, I think a lot of people are still brought up with this idea that, if this person is a family member, if they're blood related to you, they have to be in your life. You know, whether you disagree, whether you like each other, or whether they're genuinely toxic, you have to put up with that. And that is so untrue and so unhealthy. No matter who that person is, if they're toxic, if they put you down, you know, if they just don't make you feel good, they don't have to be in your life. Nobody is entitled to have a relationship with you. It does not matter who that person is. That could be your sibling, your parent, who was once your best friend, your partner, whoever it is. If you've come to terms and realized that they're not good for you, then they don't have to be in your life. You know, I'm not saying maybe shut them out completely, but if that is necessary, then do that. Do what you need first. You have to come first. You know, just like they tell you in an airplane, you know, when those masks come down, you got to put yours on first, because you can't take care of anybody else until you're taken care of, right? You know, just like in a relationship, you can't be expected to take care of your significant other in their times of need if you're not taken care of. You know, and that's not saying you have to have a perfect mental status or perfect mental health, because I don't really think anybody does. I don't think that's a true thing. But I think you have to be grounded, and I think you have to be able to take care of yourself. And, you know, because for some people at times when you're taking care of somebody else, that can be taxing. It can be mentally exhausting for you, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to have those tools to build yourself back up again, to keep yourself going, not only for them, but for yourself. You have to come first. So again, I want to talk about finding those healthy outlets. You know, not everybody has a hobby or a gift or something that they're good at, but you need to find something. You know, something you can do to get that negative energy out, and not only that, but to also bring more positive energy in. You know, whether that's maybe the cliche things like meditating, listening to music, talking to somebody, you know, any of those things. But if those things don't work for you, that's fine. You have to find something. You know, there's got to be something you can do, an activity that you know if you do it, it'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel better. You know, something that's healthy and good for your mind and body to make you feel better. You know, and one of those things I want to talk about that maybe some kids grow up with being taught is a good thing, but really honestly isn't. And again, when you talk about it, it's obvious, but it's still happening, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. You know, when someone is in your life and intentionally or unintentionally, if they hurt you, if they hurt your feelings, if they, you know, whatever it is, if they upset you, and you are courageous enough and brave enough to tell them that, to say, hey, what you did hurt me, what you did upset me, I didn't like what you did, it made me feel uncomfortable. And if that person does not apologize and maybe try to re-explain themselves or find a better way to communicate, you know, if they start backtracking and defending themselves or justifying what they did or said and saying things like, you're too sensitive, or, you know, you're being dramatic, or, you know, I didn't mean it like that, or, you know me better, or, you know, I didn't think you would be like this. Those are all extremely toxic. Those are all very, I would say, narcissistic. You know, those are really, really unhealthy things to say to somebody. You know, it doesn't matter at the end of the day if they feel like what they said needed to be said, or if they think it was true. You know, there's a million different ways to say something and to communicate the same message to somebody. So regardless if it's true or not, there's always a better way to say it. So if you communicate to someone that they need to find a better way to say it and they don't want to, again, that's an instance where you maybe need to put up some barriers. You know, you need to maybe set some boundaries with that person and keep them back a little bit, because that's not respectful, that's not kind, and that is toxic. That's bad for you. And I think that's something everybody experiences a little bit. Maybe if, you know, you're not great at communicating that it hurt you, you know, maybe if you communicate it in an unkind way yourself, well then of course they're going to be defensive. So again, it comes down to taking care of yourself first, learning how to communicate and tell this person in a kind and honest and level-headed way that you did not appreciate what they did. And if you're able to do that, then they have every reason to react in that same respectful, calm manner. And if they don't, you need to back up from that relationship. You need to back up from that person and explain to them, like, okay, I've told you how I feel, and you don't respect that. And because of that, I've lost respect for you, or we just need to have better boundaries, because you can't speak to me that way. You can't do that to me, that thing that upset me or hurt me. And that's something you see a lot, I think, in toxic people who justify it in, oh, it needed to be said. No, that is not true. If you may have had a message you wanted to send, but regardless of that fact, again, there's a better way to say it. So saying that it needed to be said is a terrible excuse for being rude to somebody. It's narcissistic. Again, I'm not a professional, but that is my opinion. I really think it is. If someone is able to break down those barriers in themselves and tell you, hey, that hurt me, you should be able to respect that. Respect their humility and their vulnerability. I want to assume the best. I never want to assume the worst out of somebody. So if I'm able to explain it to you, it's because I maybe don't think you meant it that way. I might know I'm being too dramatic. I might know I'm being too sensitive, although I really don't like to say that because I don't think that's true. I'm a sensitive person, and maybe I know that I'm being sensitive. But regardless of that fact, there's better ways to communicate with me. There's better ways to communicate with somebody who is quote-unquote sensitive or just more sensitive than you. And when they communicate that to you, you need to respect that. So I have one more thing I want to touch on, and that is just checking your emotional surroundings. Now, what do I mean by this? I've talked about it a little bit in this video already, but, really step back and look around yourself and look around at the things that make you feel some sort of emotion, whether it makes you very happy, very upset, anxious, depressed, anywhere in between. Just take a moment to really think about it, because sometimes I think we've either dealt with something for so long, or maybe it kind of just slid its way in there and you didn't really realize it at the time. But now I think if you really step back and look at it, you can be like, wow, spending time with this person always leaves me upset. It always leaves me stressed out. Or doing this activity always makes me anxious, or always makes me whatever. Or it could be positive. Doing this always makes me really happy, but I don't do it very often. Maybe I should do it more. I think too often we just kind of get this tunnel vision in our lives, and it's really healthy, I think, to stop and take a step back, figuratively, and just look around yourself, look at your life, look at your relationships, your activities, the things that you do when you're upset versus the things you do when you're happy, and just make a mental note of them. We're always able to improve. We're always able to, grow in life. So if there's anything I'd like you to take from this video, it's to just take a minute to really do that. Really step back and look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and think, what can I do to make myself better? What can I do to take care of myself first and put myself first? What can I do today or tomorrow or the next time I'm stressed? What's one thing I can think, okay, I'm stressed, I can go do this now. Or maybe I'm depressed or lonely, so I'm going to go do this. You just have that backup plan. Have those tools available so that when you're in that moment, when you're in that overwhelmed state, you're not looking around like, oh, what do I do now? I don't know how to get out of this, so I'm just going to be upset. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to lock myself away or whatever it is. Have those tools readily available. Okay, so I'm going to finally wrap this video up here. I know it was another kind of long one. I'm at 15 minutes now. Thank you so much for making it through this video with me. I'm sure as I continue making these videos, I'll be able to kind of narrow it down on a better subject. I'll have a more cohesive message I'm trying to get across. I am still brand new to this, so any suggestions, anything you liked, disliked, please go down in the comment section and let me know. It really does help me out. I'm trying to improve with every video that I upload. So again, if there's anything you want me to cover better or any questions you have, I really, really appreciate it if you go down to the comment section and let me know. Please like this video. Please subscribe if you're not already. Tell your friends, tell your family members about my channel. It's brand new. I'm really trying to get the word out there. I really do have a lot to say. I really do have a lot of things I want to share. And there are a lot of things I'm kind of waiting on because I don't have huge, I guess, aspirations for this channel. I don't think I'm ever going to be crazy popular, but I do want to wait, I guess, until I have an audience to share some things, because there are some things I just really want to get out there. So if you could help me do that, that'd be fantastic. So again, thank you so much for watching this video, and please check out what else I have on my channel. I've got a few good videos out there now, so thank you.